Did you eat? Did you understand? I've been to Spain. These mistakes are everywhere, even at intermediate and advanced level. In fact, most students I talk to keep confusing the past simple, like I took, with the present perfect, like I have taken. But don't worry, because in this lesson I've got 3 simple rules, the only rules that you need to know so you can finally stop making this mistake and think, hey, actually, this is quite easy. You ready? Okay, I've got 3 very simple rules for you in this lesson. Before we look at them, let's have a quick reminder of how to form each tense. So the past simple looks like this. I played, I wanted, I asked. Pretty easy. We just add the letters ed to the end of the verb. It's normally the sound t, and that's it. However, be careful, because unfortunately there are lots of irregular verbs here. Like eat becomes ate, take becomes took, fall becomes fell. It's really annoying because the minority of verbs are irregular. Okay, the majority are regular. The bad thing is that the majority of common verbs are irregular, and all the ones that you never use are regular. Yeah. Sorry about that. Anyway, the present perfect looks like this. I have, and then the past participle. I have asked. I have repeated. I have lived. And again, it's quite easy. It's I have, and then the verb with ed at the end. But again, you've got to be careful with the irregular past participles. I have eaten. I have taken. I have spoken. I have taught. And as before, most of the very common verbs have an irregular past participle too. Please don't make the common mistake, okay? Don't learn them as a list. Don't learn come, came, come. Sometimes I hear Spanish people saying come, came, come. They memorize it like it's written. It's the worst thing you can do. So learn them in context. Learn them in sentences. That is exactly what we will do today in this lesson. And in fact, that's how I teach you in this lesson's free worksheet too. You can download that free worksheet up there, or you can scan the QR code. I've also put a link in the description and pinned comment. And that includes a full summary from this lesson and a test. And, as I said, loads of irregular verbs that we use in English, but I'm not just going to give you a list. I'm going to show you them in examples, in sentences, to help you remember them in a more effective and contextual way. Okay, it's free and everything I've mentioned is in that worksheet. Okay, so stop panicking about these 2 tenses. I have 3 very simple rules which should solve your problem. Rule number 1 is this. If the time period that you're talking about is finished, use the past simple. If the time period that you're talking about, or implying, is not finished, use the present perfect. Okay, for example, I drank 4 cups of tea yesterday. Yesterday is finished. It's completely in the past, and we cannot change it. So we use the past simple. However, I've drunk 2 cups of tea today. Today is not finished yet. Okay, so we use the present perfect. Present, because today is the present. Okay, let's have a look at a few more examples. I travelled to Greece last year. Again, last year has finished. It's in the past. But I've travelled a lot this year. This year has not finished, so we use the present perfect. So basically, rule 1 is quite simple. When you name a finished time period, like yesterday, last week, in 2010, or like when I was a kid, when I met you, okay, a period or a moment in the past that is finished, use the past simple. And when you name a time period or you imply a time period that is still happening now, like today, this week, this month, or in my life, or ever, which is another way of saying in my life, we use the present perfect. Okay, just quickly, before we look at rule number 2, if you're new here, hello, I'm Greg. I've helped thousands of students reach an advanced level of English fluency through my online courses and on this YouTube channel. I publish new videos every Friday, so subscribe if you want to reach an advanced level of English. I'll help you get there. Okay, rule number 2 then. Does it have an effect on the present? Now this is always a little bit more complicated to understand, in my opinion. But the thing is, does the past action have a result on the present? If it does, use the present perfect. A great example of this is, I've lost my keys. Okay, this action happened in the past, but the result is very clear now, in the present, because I don't have my keys. I can't open the door. So we use the present perfect. Another very easy example of this is, she's broken her leg. Okay, so the action happened in the past, but the result is very, very clear and relevant in the present. And that's why we use the present perfect. She can't walk now. Why? Because she has broken her leg. Now compare that with these next few examples where there is no effect on the present. We're just talking about a finished event in the past. I lost my keys yesterday, but I found them this morning. Okay, there's no effect on the present, so we use the past simple. I lost my keys yesterday. But if it's connected to now, use the present perfect. If it's disconnected from now, use the past simple. By the way, if you want to go deeper into this grammar and all the other grammar that helps you speak clearly and confidently at a B2 upper intermediate level of English, then check out Brilliant B2. This is my 12-week course that takes your English grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation and listening to a very strong level of English fluency. Okay, we look at this grammar in that course, actually in much more detail. So yeah, if this is the type of English that you are learning right now, then that course will be great for you. I'll put a link in the description. Okay, are you ready for rule number 3? This is a clever one. It's all about clue words. In other words, words that give you a clue. Secret little words that you find or use in a sentence that tell you, aha, I need the past simple, or aha, I need the present perfect. So, some clue words that we use in a sentence which tell us that we need to use the past simple are words like yesterday, last week, last year, ago. That's a good one, because that can be a day ago, 5 years ago, 2 minutes ago, 2 decades ago, in 2019, when I was a child. Okay, all these little words or expressions tell us that the time we're talking about has finished, so we need the past simple in those situations. I saw him yesterday. We met 2 days ago. Okay, with the present perfect, some clue words are already, yet, just, ever, never, still, so far, and recently or lately. So I've already done my homework. I haven't finished yet. I've never been to China. We've made 2 sales so far. I've seen her a lot recently. Okay, this is great, you know, these clues are usually right there in the sentence that you're using. So when you say them, they tell you which tense you need. So there can be no confusion. Okay, I have a bonus rule for you now. Before I tell you, I want you to do 2 things. Number 1, make sure you've got the free PDF. As I said, all these rules plus all the irregular verbs are in that free worksheet. The link's in the description. And the second thing is, write "I have understood" in the comments if you have understood everything so far. Why "I have understood" and not "I understood"? Well, because the explanations and the learning happened in the past, but the result is clear on the present. Like, you now understand the rules. Also, I used the expression "so far," the clue word that means you need the present perfect. Okay, you ready for the bonus rule? It is what I call the experience rule. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but basically the rule is this. We use the present perfect to talk about life experiences. Not specific times, but experiences that you have had in your life. For example, in my life, I have visited Paris 3 times. Not "I visited Paris 3 times." No. The exception to this, though, is when you mention when it happened. So, I visited Paris last summer. That's the past simple because we mention when it happened. So just ask yourself, am I talking about a life experience or a specific event in the past with a specific time? If you're just speaking generally about life experience, use the present perfect. Like this: I've lived in 4 different countries. I've learnt 3 foreign languages. I've taught thousands of students. I've made hundreds of grammar videos on YouTube. Okay? They are all my life experiences. And that is your bonus 4th rule. Okay, so a quick summary of these 3 simple rules. Rule number 1. Are we talking about a finished time period or an unfinished time period? Rule number 2. Does it affect the present? Does it have a clear effect on the present? And rule number 3. Are there any clue words in the sentence that can tell you which tense to use? And rule number 4. Are you talking about life experience or a specific event at a specific time in the past? So if you use these 3 and bonus 4th rules, you'll never confuse the past simple and present perfect again. Okay, now despite these simple rules, there is one sentence that confuses learners like you the most, and it is this: the difference between "I went" and "I have gone." Again, it's past simple or present perfect, but it causes a lot of confusion. So watch that video next. There's your free worksheet. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.